Yeah. Hello, I am Aiga Udre, Latvian psychodramatist from the Professional Association for Psychodrama and Sociometry in Latvia. And we are doing talks with the psychodramatists in whole wide world. And today we have our neighbor from Estonia,
Oh,
from
hello.
Tartu. Yeah, Endel Hango. Hi, Endel.
Hello. Hi, I am.
Yeah, and tell us about yourself. Who is Endel Hango today?
Oh, today.
Yeah, today.
I'm sitting at home drinking coffee. And as I was just saying, I'm currently my main role is PhD student. I'm doing statistical analysis on my pilot study. I'm studying or researching rather collective intelligence. So basically sociometry, but in a business setting. So this is one thing that I am, or maybe that characterizes me. But my background is actually psychology, and I've been doing psychotherapy for about 15 years with psychodrama. I'm also an organizational consultant, and I work with adult teams, either team building or team mediation or coaching or something like this, and do corporate trainings as well. So
Okay, and you are using psychodrama all the
yeah,
way.
yeah. I have individual clients as well, but I also use psychodrama with them. So basically everything I do with psychodrama.
So you are a real psychodramatist,
Oh,
real life. It's like,
a real life psychodramatist.
yeah. Okay, great. Well, and what about playback? Because, well, it's psychodrama too, but yeah, where
I
are you playback right now?
I do playback as well. I'm a certified trainer, but I have less and less time for that because I'm leading the Estonian Psychodrama Institute, and also I'm the president of the Nordic Baltic Board. So that takes up quite a lot of time. I have some time for a Tartu theater of spontaneity, but not too much, once a month.
Okay. And yeah, you told you are there and you are a CP main trainer for the first, well, in Latvia, first international CP group. I think it's first in Baltics, right?
Yes, yeah, as a group, it's the first one. Yeah, we have had CP seminars together with Latvians previously, Estonians and Latvians, but not a group where we have representatives of all three countries.
Yeah. So that's a really nice group, and I think there goes a lot of your time too.
Yes, some.
Um, and well, what is your thoughts about why people should study psychodrama these days?
Well, there are separate questions. One is, at least for me personally, psychodrama was something that I started studying for myself. So like Jonathan Fox with Playback Theatre says that his ambition was to create a theater that's also good for the actors. So I think psychodrama is a therapy which in best case is also good for the therapist. So and that's how I think most of the programs also in the Baltics and the Nordic countries are built. So you start with self-therapy and self-experience, at least for 2 years, and then you move on. But the other part is actually some of the tools are quite easy to master, even with short workshops. So, for example, if you're not using psychodrama for psychotherapy, but let's say you want to just enhance your skills with groups, I mean, this is a great and quite easy actually way to do it.
Yeah. And well, then there's organizational psychodrama, which is quite a big topic too, but you know, there's a lot of skills to use in job, everyday work, and so
Yeah.
on.
So I would say, yeah, for self-development or self-therapy or however you call it, and the other is actually quite soon people can already start practicing or practically using some of the tools or whatever. So, and you don't necessarily need to become psychotherapist. I mean, psychodrama can be used for leaders, for whoever.
Yeah. And you not always have to be trainer afterwards.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, what do you like most about psychodrama?
I think, again, there are at least two answers. I mean, for me personally, the theme of spontaneity, creativity has been one of the main hooks, let's say, finding a better, more satisfying, more lively way to live. And there is always possibility for getting something, let's say, better or more lively or whatever. And actually, other is the process of doing that. I mean, usually therapy or self-development is connected with harsh, I don't know, like beating yourself to a goal and so on. But psychotherapy with psychodrama can actually be quite fun and quite light, and it can easily touch quite deep layers in a quite delicate and, let's say, yeah, fun way. I like this. I don't think life should be definitely hard. But I mean, it's hard anyways, but you don't need to make it even harder by being hard on yourself.
Yeah. Or looking at it like it's hard.
Yes.
You know, it's psychodrama teaching me all the time to take things lighter, and yeah, and to take an action. Well, that's for me a big.
And at the same time, I mean, it's light, but it's still meaningful. It's not that it's meaningless. I mean, even a small conversation with somebody quite, let's say, superficial or quick can actually be quite meaningful.
Yeah.
In some ways. So it's not nonsense.
Yeah. So, and is there something you dislike about psychodrama, or something that is like not so much fun?
I've been thinking about it for a long time that, I mean, Moreno at some time of his life was not too much liked by his peers. I know a lot of psychodramatists who tend to become lonely at some points. I mean, maybe not emotionally, but in some ways, or burnt out or something. So I've been thinking that maybe there is a let's say innate problem with the method. But the more I think about it and the more that I read and hear the actual history stories and look at videos, which are nowadays available also. So the more I think that it's like in the Spider-Man movies, the uncle says, with great power comes great responsibility. I think this is one of the problems, or let's say dangers, or things that I'm quite aware of, that it is very seductive way, especially if you're a TP, if you're good at what you're doing, you work with groups quite a lot. But the essence, I mean, the sociometry, the coming together, the counter, on the very basic level cannot be lost. Otherwise, you're gonna float away. I think this is one thing, and I mean, as we are also working with the possibility of legalizing, let's say, psychodrama as a psychotherapy, I mean, everybody who has ever studied CP or TP know that it's quite hard to fit the classical scientific criteria. And I think that's a challenge also. So it's a very powerful new tool, and it's quite easily combined with different modalities, which also means it is sometimes used and combined with not very, as I said, my background is scientific, university history, very science-based and evidence-based. So sometimes I see practices which are combined with more esoteric approach, I would say. And then sometimes the
line
the border somehow gets lost there.
Yeah, well, that is a possibility, but you know, I think it's sometimes because you don't want to be lonely, you know, and you just cross this line where you should tell this, no, there is the border, you cannot cross it, and but at that same time somehow got isolated from people.
I mean, this is how I ended up in the university. When I finished or graduated last time, I promised I will never go back. But after 15 years of working with groups, I have some ideas and practices that I do use.
Yeah.
And somehow the question remains, are they actually working, or what is working with them, or what is the main, let's say, mediator of change in these groups? I have some ideas, but I want to prove it.
So we will wait for your job a lot.
Yeah.
And so on. Because
the worst that I just got a meeting with my supervisor this week, where I ended up that the main risk actually is me proving that collective intelligence is not a function of the group, but rather individuals. But as previous research actually doesn't support it, I hope mine will also not go there. So,
hey, interesting, really.
Yeah, because sometimes, I mean, people think that the group is somehow a collection of individuals. But I mean, sociometrically, it's a totally new function. Yeah, the individuals have a role in it, but it's not a sum of individuals or not a function of them. It's a separate thing.
Yeah. Well, we are learning that it's a separate thing, that, you know, the same individual in the other group will be not the same anymore.
Yes.
Okay, very interesting. And psychodramatists need these groups. Well, there's my next question. What do you think and feel when you get together with other psychodramatists?
Wow.
Yeah, because we have conferences and Nordic Baltic Board and associations.
I mean, we just had our institute's, I think, 12th group finishing their CP this weekend. Yeah, so 7 more CP students finished and got 5 of them got their diplomas, and 2 of them still need to do some extra hours. But I mean, for me, these are people, I mean, very different and weird people as well, whom I would not choose or I'm not. It's not a matter of choosing, but we would never meet otherwise if psychodrama wasn't connecting us. I mean, due to interest or due to fields of occupation or whatever. So for me, this is somehow, at least in Estonia, quite a good slice of the society where I can see what the differences are. And actually, for me, this is one of the most important things, to see where I stand with other people, where do other people stand, and do it in a safe environment so everybody's happy, because or let's say not happy maybe, but happy enough that they can be seen and also see each other. I think for me, this is the most important, the differences.
Okay. And well, we can come together in them.
Yes, exactly. Because, I mean, people who are very much like me or who I think with very similarly, I meet them in my occupation, in my field, I don't know. But with psychodrama, it's more important or interesting, let's say, not maybe important. Because usually the similarities have already are so visible, or somehow all the conference, all the things start with warm-ups, everybody coming together, you know. I hate these things on one hand because it's challenging to meet people. I like people, but I don't like them. So, you know, I want to be with them, but I want to be separate as well. So it's always a challenge. And at the same time, when you do it, it's always rewarding as well.
Yeah. Okay, but the Nordic Baltic Board, there we should have some differences, but have something in common too, and some common aim maybe. Yeah. How do you feel? Why do we need Nordic Baltic Board, where you are president? What's the main thing?
I mean, historically, it has been a place to uphold training standards, where the institute heads, the TPs, got together and had their own discussions and helped each other and so on, and organized, of course, the certifications. But I feel now it's I mean, the quality assurance thing still is the most important, that we are agreeing on every year, because we look at the NBB's strategy every year. So this is the main thing. But the other is also that somehow, as the environment in the Nordics and Baltics has somehow melted together with the media, social media and stuff, so we help each other also to create the possibility of psychodrama, I would say. We organize some more conferences, we do some projects together. I would say this is still but still the idea of institute executives to be in a discussion with their peers openly about their institutes and psychodrama, I think that's valuable. And I mean, the idea is that similar boards work all over the world. And we actually are in touch with them, and we actually share information and do stuff together. So
we are making somehow social net.
Yes, exactly. I mean, very practical reasons, and Estonian is moving to the States. So what are the certificates? How do they? How does she continue with the training and so on? So it's also very practical things.
Right. Thank you. And well, now a little about you. How have you changed since you were in psychodrama?
I've been in psychodrama for quite a long time.
Yeah, right.
So it's somewhat hard to say what is due to psychodrama and what would I be if I didn't have psychodrama. Because,
Oh, maybe that's the right question. What would you be if you don't have psychodrama?
because I mean, my mother is a psychodramatist. My wife was a psychodramatist. My ex-wife is a psychodramatist. Would be
Yeah.
the right answer. The right. So she's still very much alive. I mean, what would I think? I don't imagine. I'm afraid to think what I would be if I didn't have psychodrama. But for sure, I wouldn't be as flexible and spontaneous as I am. For sure.
Yeah.
And I think also, thank God I found psychodrama because my professional life is fun and interesting. So actually, when I went to the university, my first choice would have been an IT guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would be a programmer. Oh my God, no.
Yeah. But you know, they have to learn a lot too, all the time. So you need to grow, you need this spontaneity and those personality traits anyways, I think.
Yeah, my problem probably is, as I said, psychodrama in best case is also good for the therapist.
Mm.
But and it's somehow also keeps me actively involved, not only in my own issues, not only in the clients' issues or the groups or the trainees, but also on a societal level a bit wider. So yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting how psychodrama does this. That you have this mind that you need to be involved in society too. Well, okay, nowadays things happens a lot, so it's dumb or bad if you don't follow what's happening on a big level, maybe.
I feel some of it is actually, I mean, I hear more and more people saying that they don't follow mainstream media or they don't look at the news because it's all so negative.
Yeah.
Psychodrama, I feel it's actually possible to get a deeper sense of the meaning of
What's written there?
yes, of the things happening and not get stuck with the tone of the communication. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And well, also maybe it's one thing that in Latvia we talk about, you know, to mindfully read to see what's fake and what's not, to see where is this glitch, yeah, that it's a fake news or something. And I think psychodrama trains mind to see those things. I don't know. Well, maybe it's my marketing training or PR or something, but I think you just think, you read and also think what you read. And yeah,
I
that's the
mean,
thing.
my group leaders' work was on how to be a good auxiliary. Everybody's researching and studying how to be a good maybe protagonist, or what are the therapeutic threads or the process, or but I was interested in how to be a good auxiliary. And I think this is one of the trainings which we kind of overlook sometimes. Of course, it's about the role reversal, but on a more basic level, it's about the cognitive flexibility.
Mm.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying. Even if I'm reading something black and white,
Yeah.
I still am in contact with that part of creativity that helps me change the perspective.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. So
When I'm emotionally involved, I also am aware of the other side.
yeah, on the other side. That's right. Okay. Where do you want to travel? I know that you have traveled a lot. And which city maybe is your favorite if you are already been there?
I mean, I have currently, I'm thinking of revisiting Split. I went there, and that was the place where I got engaged with my ex-wife.
Okay.
That's the memory now. And maybe I'm going there this September, but I don't know. So this is something very concrete.
Mm.
I remember the city well, and I loved it. And I was just thinking, oh, this is a place where I could wander along for days and days. I mean, the old city is wonderful.
Oh, okay.
But actually, I haven't been to very many places.
Oh, so that was just my imagination.
I
Fantasy.
mean, I've always loved the way psychodrama is done in Australia and New Zealand. So maybe I would love to go there sometime.
Okay. Okay. And which decision or project are you most proud of?
Oh, project or decision. I think
Well, both, decision and the project.
I think it was 7 years ago, I guess, when we were discussing with my colleague that why don't we change the structure of the institute? So far, the institute has been the teacher or some teachers, and then, they are the institute, and then students come and go. But we changed the structure of the institute so that also students are members. And I mean, I think this has been so far the best decision. I mean, we have 24 members in the Estonian Psychodrama Institute. Most of them are CPs by now, and a lot of TPs. And I mean, we're doing several projects in different areas, like children's psychodrama with organizations, therapeutic work. Everybody has kind of their place. I think the idea to actually build an organization, the Psychodrama Institute, on the basis of the ideas of sociometry, to actually practice what you're preaching. I think that was one of the good ideas. I didn't do it alone, so no way it's only my decision, but I think this was one of the best that I'm most happy with now.
Yeah, you could write some paper about it, maybe, because we, as a psychodrama association, are thinking a lot about this. How can you make involve people? Also, are all members to involve in creating, to be more together, to, I don't know, give some togetherness, but yeah, not to be very needy or something. Yeah, where is this line? And we are thinking about it a lot. So
but I think it is a challenge in many ways. One is, I mean, the same way in Latvia as in Estonia, psychodrama is not official
yeah,
therapist. So this is somehow gives the background. So you're basically working together with colleagues who you compete with.
yeah, somehow.
Somehow, yes. So how do you actually make the best of it? So that's a challenging, and I mean also basically the notion of voluntary work in today's let's say society is in Western society is quite hard to master.
Yeah, but still, you know, psychodrama, Moreno, philosophy, all the philosophy talks about this. You have to give and then you get, not otherwise. And you have to just do something because you know it's a good thing. Well, that's just my reflection on this. But yeah, well, that's my thoughts. I have to give to gain more than just, you know, clients or money. Something like that.
I would. That's a good thought. That's an interesting idea. So, how did Moreno work in the sense in means of money?
Yeah, yeah, that's a good question because
I think the answer is not to do. I mean, classical voluntary work is perceived as you do something for free,
yeah,
but in the sense that to do professionally in the sector some things, people need to get paid as well.
yeah,
So
yeah,
there are voluntary things that you need to do, but there are also things in the structure and roles that need to be fulfilled that people need to get, I mean, paid for.
yeah. Well,
It's not it's not I think the negative part of this voluntary thing is something that Moreno would definitely be against. So when I give money to charity, I'm
yeah, oh
not
yeah,
responsible anymore. I've done my part. Or if I share food in the shelter for,
yeah.
crap.
Okay, yeah, there I'm there with you, but well, as a now starting therapist, I think, well, I'm taking money, but I'm taking not so much money because I know that I gain, well, my you know, professional thinking and knowledge by this. So it's not, well, it's not for free, but I'm gaining another things too, not just, you know, money. So I think it's sometimes, well, I see it as an energy. I do things so I get back something in other way.
Yeah,
Always,
yeah.
always.
I think it's a way of thinking exactly that we have to be aware of also the effect that we are having. If we as students are promoting free psychodrama, one
Yeah,
of the things is then the expectations also grow there. Yeah. So we are actually building a market for ourselves. And sociometrically also, once you get into kind of a relationship, it's much harder to change. So better change it in the first part.
yeah, yeah. No, of course. Well, the one thing that we needed to do in leaders level, take money for our groups because, you know, it's learning process too. You cannot do it like, but yeah, of course. Okay. Um. Yeah. What are you thinking about?
I'm thinking why we are talking about money.
I
Uh,
don't know. But
but sometimes psychodrama tends to be connected with like higher values. And I agree, it is. And it has to be grounded in the philosophy and the values and so on. And they should not be contradictory to basic human needs. Like, I mean, I don't think anybody should pay extra to do a group. So if you have costs, you need to get them sorted. I mean, this is the basic. I mean, I'm not doing it for the greater good so that I myself can be lesser and lesser all the time. So that's the contradiction for me there, that sometimes people, for the greater good, they think that they need to sacrifice something. But I would say then you need some more spontaneity and creativity to find a better solution.
Find a better, greater good.
Yes, exactly. Or make some changes in the environment. Let's make an institute where there are other people also doing the work. Let's get some people who are actually doing the lobbying in the ministry and helping us maybe to create an environment where, for example, the students at first levels can actually work through contracts in a hospital. I mean, there is a need there. We have the possibilities. Why not bring them together? This kind of thinking, I think, is something that psychodrama is, at least for me, has given. Yeah,
you're right. You're right. And there's this question that we had started with, how to make people in this good state of group, in this good association or institute that works.
It needs to be good for them.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, basically, not wanting to sound too old and weird, but human beings are actually acting selfishly. They are doing or choosing always the best or a good solution for themselves. The question is now how to fit these good solutions together so that everybody can actually have a better life. And that's where we come to this tele and encounter thing. People actually have to meet. That's where the challenge is, because it's also risky.
Yeah, because I like people and I don't like people.
Exactly.
Okay, you told about your old age. What age would you give yourself right now?
Oh, currently I'm feeling like 50, but
okay.
I mean, it's winter, I've gained some weight, so it's warm, so yeah. Ask me again in August, then maybe I have less.
Okay. But you know, 50 is our new 30s, so it's good.
I mean, I read somewhere that the 50s are the most productive work life this 10 years. And I feel I'm quite productive. I don't know where else to go. That's why I put 50. I think I'm working quite well. I'm aware when I need to give something up, and I have done so also. So I'm not sitting in the board of the spontaneity theater, so choosing, giving room for others is also, I think, one important thing.
Okay. And if you could change one thing in the world, what would it be?
In the world?
Yeah.
Oh. I think, oh, that's a hard question.
Okay. If we make it smaller, like in a psychodrama or in a Baltics, maybe.
I mean, what I'm thinking of is not changing anything with the world. I would change something in the perception of people.
Okay.
I think it starts with awareness. The first thing that came to my mind was to give people the gift of foresight, so that they would know what their decisions lead to.
Okay.
So yeah, more awareness, I would say, but it's not for guessing the lottery numbers, but for, who you might hurt, or who is affected by what you do, or, like this kind of awareness or foresight. So somehow to be aware more of one's own power and responsibility.
Yeah. Well, that's great, but maybe they would use it, for guessing lottery numbers, but it's not working like that. Yeah. No, you have to see your power here only.
One of this famous prayer that I love is that something goes like something, you are not afraid of your weakness, but you're afraid of your unlimited power. And I think that's something that people are unwilling to
see.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, because, well, in Latvia at least, sometimes I feel like people are saying, well, I cannot do anything. I'm powerless in this, talking politics or social things. I'm powerless there. But it's a great strength to see that you are, well, important in this life and you can do something. So that would be the great thing to see it. Not only to see how you can hurt somebody, but that you really have an impact.
In terms of psychodramatic notions, I think it's a function again of the role, because I feel that, at least when I look at my groups and clients, a lot of people are struggling with their life. So they are having a fight for the effort, for the effect, for the change.
Yeah.
So they are so tired of focusing on that. But sometimes it's very good to look at the shadow, to look at the negative role, to look at, to actually go into this depressive Endel who has, down, oh, I can't do anything. Oh, for me, I know when I get into it, it's half an hour, and then I'm thinking, oh, no, let's move. I want to do something. But I feel that some people are so afraid of this that they somehow exhaust themselves too much, and that's the problem. So, because there are things in the world that I cannot change.
Yeah.
It's very good and very healthy to pitch about them, but then move on.
Yeah, but then move on and see what you can do.
Yeah.
Actually can. Okay, what is the craziest thing that you have done in your life?
I've done nothing crazy.
Never.
No, they're crazy and crazy. I'm very safe person. I'm not risking, taking risks in that sense. But why did I have to climb this Mont Blanc, or why did I have to go on a hike on the Nepalese mountains, or sail in the Caribbean, or but I would say maybe some of the craziest things from outside are the little changes that people make in their lives. I think it's also, for me, like some people, I remember when I said that I will not sit on the board of Tartu Spontaneity Theatre anymore. They were saying, "You're crazy. Why do you do that? Don't, you know." So this, I would say, this kind of changes are maybe the craziest from some perspective. When I look at it back, I mean, everything leads to something, so it does make sense afterwards.
Yeah.
But when you start to predict, I've done things that nobody would have predicted. Yeah.
That's a crazy thing, to do. Something that we cannot foresee.
Yeah.
Somehow. And what is your favorite book, but psychodrama book?
Favorite psychodrama book?
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
I love fantasy books, and I like The Hobbit and the so Tolkien books and some others. And I would say I did a research paper on it also. So in some senses, I think, like it said, that Little Prince is a psychoanalytic book. I think Lord of the Rings is very much a psychodramatic book, because it has the notion of action in it. But also all the themes and all about the philosophy and stuff. So, but with psychodrama, Words of the Father, I love it. Some people hate the poem, but I love it because it gives me comfort. It's quite simple, yet it has very many meanings.
Okay. I should read Lords of the Rings, I think. Because I saw some, I don't know, some stand-up show, or someone told there that they are just walking all the time. All book, they are just walking somewhere.
Not exactly, but
somehow it is about the
how
book.
it is, yes. So isn't life a journey? Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. We are slowly moving to an end. But here's the question: what will psychodrama be like in 20 years in the future?
There are some things that I'm seeing currently that I don't think are good for psychodrama. It's the making of this all small standards. So everybody is doing their own little competency model, psychodrama with children, psychodrama in online, psychodrama with, blah, 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 blah. And they are like doing like this capsuling. I think psychodrama is a wider philosophy or a way of being, and putting just a label that it's a tool for therapy, or I don't know, a means for sociometric interaction or involvement, it's limiting. So in best case, I think in 20 years, at least in the Baltics, I think we are kind of trying to find the balance. I mean, with the newborn freedom, well, after 20 years, still it's in a country's history, it's quite new. So we are too free now. We are kind of embracing that. I think we are heading back to this more collective idea of society. So I hope psychodrama has a spot at schools, at kindergartens, at universities, so that it's actually really a way of or a means to create communities, knowledge, yourself, whatever, so as it was intended. So I hope it becomes more a part of the official education system. Maybe this is my hope.
Yeah. That would be great.
Yeah.
Is there a place in the world, because I don't know, where it is like that, like it should be?
Hey. Of course, there are green pieces of lawn somewhere and somewhere, like they're doing storytelling in the sense of playback theater in some countries and so on. But I'm afraid it's too unpredictable.
Hmm.
And politicians and big crowds like that things are predictive or predictable. But psychodrama is not. You never know where you end up. You should not know where you end up.
Yeah, but well, we can agree on one thing: it's good for people.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you will end up on a good side, anyways. You just
Yeah, usually it's not. I mean, when you start to think about it, you do know where you end up in the dynamics or where you move the emotion, but you don't get to the right solution. If you knew the right solution from the start, you don't need psychodrama, you don't
yeah.
need anything. And that's one of the problems, I think, that we are so afraid of making a mistake and exploring and seeing what happens, that we, even if things are shit, we stick to them because we know how it works.
Yeah.
And that to me is crazy. Why do you do the same thing that you hate? Why don't you change? Oh no, I can't change because I don't know where I end up. I might
Yeah.
end up in a worse place. Yes, but you might end up in a better place.
Yeah, and still it's a different place.
Yes.
Yeah, but well, you know, people like safe places for them.
Yeah.
Safe.
Which I also understand. And I appreciate that sometimes, yeah, but at the same time, it's really, it doesn't make sense somehow if people are unhappy, not changing, not
Yeah.
doing, not willing. So, I mean,
So
yeah.
let's hope in 20 years people will be more drawn to change. Yeah.
I think people don't change in 20 years. What can change is that we can actually give the awareness and the tools and the means, because a lot of people in psychodramatic sense are struggling. They don't know. They are in their refugee camp with their own limited view. If only the rabbi would come and tell them there are better ways, you know.
Yeah. Where is the rabbi?
Yeah.
Who can make decisions for me? Where is it?
JL needs to come. Well, and I mean, also from his history, when he first came, a lot of people said,
Yeah.
and I think that's also fair, you will fail. You don't know the answer. You're not connecting with the community at once. You don't, you know. But I think to embrace this search, man's search for meaning.
Yeah. Okay. So nothing will change in 20 years. It's just the same. What's now? Probably.
I will have changed, and hopefully I've changed some people's, if not lives, then at least maybe a lot, some of their actions and some of their thinking.
Yeah. let it be.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thank you. And do you have some wise man's sentence for all other psychodramatists? You know, a lot of leaders are looking at these videos, and some that are just thinking maybe about to study or do their CPs.
Don't think alone. Reach out, write to Aiga or me, or comment on the video or whatever, but connect with people. This is the only thing that I can think of. I mean, thinking alone can only get you so far, but when you actually reach out and talk to people, you might find something interesting. Wow.
Thank you. Might create some ideas together too.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you a lot, Endel, for this great interview, great talk, I think.
You're welcome.